in the last video, which is the first of this series, we discussed the various sections that are required when writing your academic projects. All right, and we looked at the sections that are required, and in this particular video we are looking at the citation and references. That's what we are looking at. One thing we need to understand is that it is not even advisable for you to start your project write-up in the first place without understanding the concept of citation and references. So in this video we're going to be looking at citation and references even before you begin your chapter 1, because we've already mentioned that the main chapters of a project write-ups are 5, and that is the first one, which is talking about the introduction. The second one is your literature review. The third one, which is chapter 3, is your methodology. Chapter 4 is your results and discussion, and chapter 5 is conclusion and recommendations. Those are the 5 chapters of a project, but you should not even start writing your project, you should not even start writing the introduction without understanding the concept of citation and references, and that's what we're going to be dealing with in this particular video. So we're starting, that is why we titled this "Writing Your Academic Project with Ease, Citation and References." Now, this is what we mean by citation and references. If you've come across any academic work at all, or any academic project at all, be it at undergraduate or postgraduate or whatever level it is, you will see that this is what we mean by citations. Okay, like now you can see on the left, on my screen right now, on the left is giving us the illustrations of the citation. Okay, it's giving us the illustrations of citations. Okay, it's giving us the illustration of citation, you understand? So you can see, and on the right hand side of the screen are references. Okay, so the left hand side is giving us the illustration of a body of a project, you know, from your chapter 1 to the last chapter. That's what the left hand side is actually representing. And after the last chapter, what you have is references. You have the references, and that is what the right hand side of our screen my screen is actually illustrating. So you can see here on the left hand side. Okay, you will notice that here, let's assume this is actually taken from the body of a project. Okay, and you can see here it says that education is a cornerstone, which means that this particular project is discussing something on education. Okay, so now it says that education is a cornerstone in shaping the future of individuals and societies, and teachers play a pivotal role in this process. Okay, and you can see a bracket is open, and then you can see Ihakwo and Atuzie, okay, 2023. You can see that, and you can also see a column there. You have Moscardini, okay, Stachan, and Vlasova 2022, and then the bracket is closed. That is what we mean by insight. That's what we mean by citation. Okay, you've actually, what you are telling us here is that these people that you have actually mentioned, this work that you have actually mentioned, they actually support the statements that you've made earlier. That is, the education is a cornerstone in shaping the future of individuals and society, and teachers play a pivotal role in this process. So that is what you have said, that these people actually support the statements that you have made. Okay, that they support this statement, and there is a work that you can actually, that was produced or made in 2023 and 2022 that supports this. So when you put such sources within the text of a project, that is what you refer to as citation. That means you're actually citing those works that they've actually done. And in every citation that you make, At the end of your project, you will always have the references, okay, list of references, so which must be at the end of your project. And that is why I am having the right hand side right now. These are the sources that have actually been cited in the body of this project where I actually took this from. Okay, so these are the works, the academic works that have been cited in this, and then you list their references. So in their references give the full details of the citation. Okay, give the full details of the citation that has actually been made in the body of the project. And you can see the references here. You can see Abamba, you can see Abioye, you can see Hapo. So the one that was actually cited on the left hand side is the third one here. Okay, is the third one here. The one that was actually cited is the third one here. Is the third one here that's on this side. So is the third one on the right hand side. So this is illustrating the citation, what we mean practically, what we mean by citation and references. And of course, this is telling us more that citation and references are essential in project writing to give credit to the sources of information used in your work. Okay, they demonstrate academic integrity, avoid plagiarism, and support your arguments with credible evidence. What it means here is that plagiarism is a very serious matter when it comes to academics and when it comes to writing. What plagiarism simply means is you copying another person's work without giving reference. Without giving them credibility to them, without giving the credit to them. Okay, you just see somebody, like some of you or some people probably might just go on internet, since they know the topic, they Google the topic and then they download somebody's project and they present it as their own. That is a high level of plagiarism. Yes, that's a high level of plagiarism, and in academics that is not a joke at all, and it's not something to even play with at all, and is not taken lightly in the academics. So please begin to avoid plagiarism even at your undergraduate or whatever level that you are operating right now. So plagiarism is not something to actually work with. And of course, you have citations, still telling us citations. You can see a brief mention of the source, okay, in the body of the work, showing where the information comes from. Example, Smith 2020, like I showed you earlier. So you can have Smith 2020 and then the bracket is closed. That is citation. And when it's referenced, you now give details about that citation that you've made, the Smith 2020, that citation that you've made, you give more details regarding that. And then so now, why are citations and references important? Of course, they are very, very important. Number one is credit. So it acknowledges the original, okay, the original authors for their work, the work that they have done. They are acknowledged, okay. That means that you recognize the work, you're using it in your work, you find it useful, and then you give credit to them that yes, they did a well done job. That's a great job that they did. And then you also have credibility, enhance the validity of your argument. Whatever it is that you are saying is buttress your point. It enhances the credibility of your own project. And also plagiarism prevention. Of course, it helps you to avoid plagiarism, because by the time you cite somebody's work, and the last one that we're discussing here is the academic standard. Okay, the academic standard has follow research guidelines. Okay, by the time you give credit to someone who has actually done a particular job, who has done a good job, so definitely that is what is expected as far as the academics is concerned. And then we're looking at types of citation. Okay, we're looking at types of citation. Okay, citation style. There are different citation styles. You don't just open bracket and put something there and close it. No. So it depends on what you are actually using in your school or maybe in your department. Okay, in your school or in your department. So you have the citation, you have citation style, you have what is known as APA. That's APA is American Psychological Association. Okay, American Psychological Association. So that's what some schools and some departments actually use. We have MLA, we have Chicago, we have IA, we have several of them, and there is a way, depending on which style you are actually using, there is a way that it's being done. But what we are going to focus on in this particular video is the APA. We'll be using the APA, that's the American Psychological Association. That's the APA that we're going to focus on in this particular video. Okay, that's most social sciences, education, they use APA, they use APA. And then, so how it when you are citing it in text, how is it written? That is what the third column here is actually demonstrating. So you have author, comma, and then year. So the name of the author you write, and then comma, you put comma, then you put year, and that's what you're having there. And of course, under the reference list, because at the end of your project you will have your references and how it's written. You have author, okay, comma, then their initial follows, and also the year follows, and then you put title, okay, and publisher. You understand, the title and the publisher follow. So this is what we mean by the types of different citation style. That is APA. Okay, and if you are using the other ones, you have them here as well. For those in humanities, that's the literature, they use more of the MLA. Okay, and then those in history and art also use Chicago, and then you also have the IE, that's the engineering and technology, they make use of that. All right, now the in-text citation, when you have a citation being made in the body of a project, that is what you refer to as the in-text citation. When you have it in the body of a project, that is what you know as in-text citations. And then you can have it in different form. You can have direct quotes and you can have paraphrasing. Okay, you can have it paraphrased, you can have it directly. Okay, when you use the exact word from a source and then enclose them in a quotation mark, okay, what you're having is direct quote. Okay, direct quote. Like for instance, you pick something from somebody's work. Let's assume in that statement the person has originally written, education is the foundation of society. Okay, and then you see that and you feel that it supports what you are writing on, or it buttresses your own point, and then you copy that directly without any change. You did not change anything, you copy it directly and then you place it in your own work. By the time you are placing it there, you must quote it. That is to tell you that somebody else, that you copied it from somewhere, and then you now follow up, open the brackets, write the person's name, then the year, as well as the page where you actually, depending on which source, depending on where it's coming from. Anyway, we'll still discuss more as we move on with regards to that. So you put the name, the year, and then the page in there. And if you are paraphrasing, is a bit different. Is different from when you are dealing with direct quote. When you are paraphrasing, that's when you are restating the information in your own words. Okay, the person has actually said that education is the foundation of the society rather. Okay, but when you are paraphrasing, rather than putting it straight the way it's rather than copying and pasting directly, you now do you paraphrase it. That means you change it. You change the statement. So you now have Smith 2020 suggests that education is the foundation of society. Okay, suggests that education is foundation of society. In this case now you have paraphrased it, all right, you've changed the way it was actually put. Okay, now one thing you need to understand, or one thing I want to call your attention to here, is the citation in the first one, where you're having a direct quote and when you're having paraphrasing. Okay, if you look at the way the citations are written, you see that in the first one there it is written as Smith, 2020, that's the year. Okay, and then the page follows. But in the second one you see that Smith, okay, Smith, then you open the bracket, it is only the 2020 that is in bracket. That is telling you that there is a difference between when you are having your in-text citation, okay, for direct quote, and when you are actually paraphrasing. So then you also have the reference list. Okay, the reference list here definitely is telling us that all the that's telling us that the all the citations that have been made, every citations that we've made, every in-text citation that you've made in the body of your project, of course you will always have them written on your reference list at the end of your project. And that's what we are saying here, reference list. And of course we also look at, like I told you earlier on, that we are going to be focusing on the APA, which is the American Psychological Association style of writing. Okay, here, so we're looking at the format, you know, for common sources in APA style. Okay, so like here, this is basically telling us what source, what sources are you getting the information that you are using from. Are you getting it from a book? Okay, are you getting the information from a book? Are you getting it from a journal article, or are you getting it from a website, or maybe thesis or dissertation? So the source you are getting that particular information that you are using in your project from, there is a way you cite it such that it will reflect where it's actually coming from, you understand, in your work. So like you have the format here, you have the author, the initials, you have the year, you have the title of the book and publisher. This is basically more for references, you understand, how you put it at the end of your project. That is it. So it's such a way that it will reflect that, oh, this was actually taken from a book. You don't need to tell anybody that you took this from a book or you took it from a journal, you understand. For someone who really understands the writing, will tell you that mere looking at the reference will tell you, oh, this was taken from a book, this was taken from a journal, this was taken from website, and this was taken from thesis or dissertation. So like you have the author, so you have the author for the first one. If it's coming from a book, so the format is author, you have the initials, then you have the year, you have the title of the book, and then the publisher. So you can see the example on the far right. You can see the example here. You have Smith J, okay, Smith J 2020, okay, Education Matter, that is the title of the book, then Academic Press, that is the publisher. If it's coming from a journal, you have the author, you have the initial, and then you have the year, okay, and then you have title of the journal name, okay, title, you have title, then you have journal name, okay, you have volumes, okay, or issue as it may be applied, then you have pages as well. Okay, so you can see the example, you can see Do J, okay, 2021, okay, and of course the title is Learning Trends ED, okay, journal, right? So you have the pages, that's one, page 10, page 35 to 45, okay, page 35 to 45, that's what you have at the head. And likewise, when it's website, you also have that one as well, okay, and when it's thesis, you also have it accordingly as well. And of course, this is how to avoid common mistakes in citation. This is giving us hints on how to avoid common mistakes in citation. Number one, missing citation. So always cite any idea, fact, or figure that is not your original thought. If it's not you, okay, if it's been stated by someone else, you should always cite it, okay. If it's a statement that is not coming directly from you, it's been someone else, then you need to cite it. Then you have incomplete references, okay. Include all necessary details for each source, okay. So you avoid incomplete reference. And also you should also avoid incorrect style, okay. So you follow the style guide specified by your institution. Some departments state exactly what they expect, some institution will state exactly what they expect. Sometimes it's some professional body actually states what is expected, okay, in their write-up, as far as the project write-up in their field is concerned. So you follow the one that is stated for your own case. Then you also have over reliance on quotes. You don't just quote everything. You should find a way to paraphrase what has been said by someone, but give credit to them, because by so doing you are showing that you understand what you are actually writing. And then you have tips for effective citation and referencing, okay. Number one, you use citation management tools like Mendeley, Zotero. Mendeley and Zotero are some of the management tools, okay. That they are some of the tools that are used to make citation easier, okay. Later we'll talk about how to use Mendeley and Zotero. We'll come to that in the course of this videos. We'll do that, okay. And then I'll also show you how to do it manually, how to do your citation manually. I think we'll take manually first before we now come to using Mendeley and Zotero. Yes, using Mendeley and Zotero, we'll come to that later. But how to do it manually, I will show us that, okay, in the course of our videos, in one of the series that we are doing. So this particular one, but the next video will be covering how to do it manually, okay, while Mendeley and Zotero will come after that. And then organize your sources as you research to avoid last minute stress. How to organize your sources as you research, that's why I said that right from the point when you are starting your introduction, you should be familiar, you should understand what your citation and referencing style is going to be like and how you're going to do it, because that is where you begin to organize your research from. That's where you begin to organize your sources as we're going on. How you're going to do that, I will also show you, or how I do mine, I will show you in the next video. Then you also have always double check your reference list, okay. So you always check for accuracy and completeness in your references. And of course we have rules for upper style. Like I told you that we are focusing on upper style, that's the American Psychological Association style. So we have general rules, okay. So the fonts, so you're looking at the fonts, you're looking at the spacing, okay. You should use a readable font, okay. The common one is Times New Roman, okay. Times New Roman. Your font style is Times New Roman. And the size, okay, the font size is 12, okay, mostly. And then the in-text citation, you should always provide the author's last name if you are doing in-text citation, and publication year, example Smith 2020, just like I've showed you earlier. And then you also have the reference list, so you list all your references as far as it's upper style. All your references are organized alphabetically. The ones that have their name starts with A comes first, follows by the ones that come with that has B, C's, and so on and so forth. So you organize your work alphabetically under the references. So you don't just put it together, mix it up. No, it's wrong. And then you also have the rules for number of author. Okay, when you are doing under your in-text citation, under your reference list, you have rules for your author. Okay, when the author is one, okay, and it's in-text citation, you just write their last name, comma, and then their year, and you close your brackets. That's if it's one. But when the author is two, that means you have the two of them, that's their last name. You have, like you have in this case, you have Smith and Jones, comma, 2021. Okay, so you have Smith and Jones 2021. Okay, so you have it that way. So you use and as it's written here, you know, for their in-text citation. And when it's more than one, when it's more than three, rather, when you have three or more, we use et al. You know, et al. So you can have the first author that is written there, the first person that is written there. So you pick the last name, and then you use et al. To complete it. That's, it tells whoever is reading that you have more about three or more author that did that job, and then of course followed by their year in the same bracket like you're having it here. And also on their preference list format, you can also see that is what we are having here. Exactly this format is what has to be followed. Mind you, on the last one, sometimes when you want to use, before you begin to use et al., if you are citing that author, like when you have three or more, and you're okay, so this is giving special rules, okay, for upper style, special rules. Okay, we've talked about the case where you have one author, where you have two author, where you have three or more author. Okay, additional rules to that is when there is no author in the work that you're doing at all. Okay, when there is no author, when no author is written there. Okay, so what do you do? So what you do is that you use the title, that's number, you use the title of the book, or of the work rather, okay, in place of the author. Instead of mentioning the name of the author, since there is no author, you pick the title, okay, title, comma, the year that particular work was done, or that particular work was produced. And then if you have it to be group author, like organizations, okay, like organization, if you have it to be group author, you have one, the in-text. For the in-text, when you want to do that, you use the full name of the group or abbreviations. Okay, you use the full name of the group or abbreviations. Okay, so you can have examples. You have the World Health Organization, or you have WHO. Okay, then 2020, just like the way it is. Okay, you have that's World Health Organization. Okay, please note the way it is written. You have a World Health Organization, or you have WHO, comma, 2020. Okay, whichever one that you actually, either the full name or the abbreviations like it is written. And then you also have the reference. Okay, the reference, when it's in the case of reference, okay, you have World Health Organization, okay, full stop, then you have the year, full stop, then followed by the that's the title or the topic of whatever it is that is being discussed. Okay, Earth guidelines for schools. Okay, so that's what you have. Then you have the WHO press, that's the publications or the publisher rather. Then when it's the same author and year, like you've found that the same author and year, probably different works in the same year, like we're in 2025. If I have done two work, okay, if I've done two work and two works that I've done, somebody wants to cite the two of them, they were both done in the same year but different work. Okay, they were both done in the same year. How do you cite such? And that's what we're having there. So you have same author and year, so you had letter ABC. Okay, that's after the year to distinguish works. Okay, example, you have Smith 2020A. which refers to the first one, and then you have Smith 2020B, which will be referring to the second one. Okay, it's the same author but and also the same year. Then you also have the in-text citations. Okay, you have in-text citation, you have scenarios. When you are quoting it directly, like we've discussed earlier, you have Smith 2020. So the example here, you have Smith 2020, then page 45, depending on where you are paraphrasing. We've said it. Okay, we've said it. That's how it is put. And then when you have multiple works by author, you have Smith, Jones, Smith. Okay, Smith 2020. Okay, Jones 2019. And if you have it more than three, when it's three, you have it that way. But if you have it more than three, then you use et al. Okay, et al. Then you have citing secondary sources in the sense that you will notice that here in the example here you have Jones 2018, okay, and you also have as cited in Smith 2020. Let's assume I am doing a particular work now and I need citation. Okay, I have found a citation in Smith's work. Okay, citation is Smith's work. Ideally, what I'm supposed to do is to quote that Smith work, Smith, and say, oh, 2020. But that quotation, that statement that I found there was not actually credited. Originally was not credited to Smith, but Smith credits that particular statement to Jones work, which was 2018. So what the best thing for me to do is to give reference or to give credit to both of them. I give credit to Jones, so I will just say Jones 2018 as cited in Smith 2020, so that when somebody come across my work and needs to see that particular citations that I've done, the person will go to Smith 2020 and will find it there. And if the person is not satisfied there, then the person can now go to Jones 2018. Then we have tips for upper style. Okay, for using upper style effectively, we have consistency. Ensure the in-text citation match the reference list. They must match. Okay, not that you have Jones 2018, okay, and you are put in the reference list, you are putting James. Some people, when you open their project, their in-text citation and the reference do not even match at all. You probably, some think that you just copy reference, you just go and copy the list of references from another person's work, copy the list of references, put it at the back of their own project, and feels that and submit it as if they have done the right thing. That is wrong thing. That is still part of plagiarism. So to avoid that, please let the in-text citation and your reference list, let it match. Then capitalization, only the first words of titles and subtitle is capitalized in references. Okay, only the first words of titles and subtitles are capitalized. Then you also have italic citation. Okay, use italics for books and journal titles. Okay, then you also have what is known as DOR and URLs. That's what you're having here, like the sites where you're actually getting a particular thanks for watching and listening. So we've come to the end of this video. Please like, share and subscribe, so that as you subscribe you will be notified when a new video is released. And in our next video we'll be discussing how to document your citations and do your references, okay, in the real settings. Okay, how you can do it using the Zotero, Mendeley, and of course the manually. So what we'll be doing in the next one is the manual one, while the Zotero and the Mendeley can then follow for easy references. And then we'll also go into how to write your introduction properly.